Hi, I'm Mr. Fredericks, and I'll be your instructor for this accelerated core astronomy course. Now, just a quick little bit about myself, just so you know who I am. I have a Master's of Science in Chemistry from University of Pittsburgh and another Master's in Instructional Technology from Bloomsburg University. So I've been teaching online for a number of years, and I've taught this course a number of years, so we've had a lot of experience with this. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through the syllabus, show you the textbook, which is online and free, talk about Moodle, a little bit about Teams, and then just wrap everything up. Here's the syllabus for the course. So you can see there's my name and there's my email, which is the primary way you're going to get in contact with me. And I will show you Teams in just a few minutes to show you how we can do any office hours if necessary. Now, the course overview and the course goals, those are mostly for the department, so we'll skip ahead on those. You can read them in your own time. So course format. There's video lectures, readings from the textbook. There's question sets. Usually there's 2 question sets per week. Unit tests, so about 1 unit test per week, and then the final exam. And everything runs through Moodle. I'm going to show you Moodle soon. So here's a link to the textbook. And like I said, we'll show you the textbook also in a minute or so. And you can see the grading down here. So question sets and assignments are about 40%. Unit tests are 40%, and the final exam is about 20%, and then there's the grading scale. Now, class etiquette. All posts to the discussion forums should be courteous and respectful, and any emails to me should be polite and professional. So don't send me an email like, hey, or hey, dude, or something like that. That's not professional. Please call me Mr. Fredericks, and I'll do the same to show you respect as a student. You should also see right above there that we all have other responsibilities in life. However, you must still earn your grade in this course. Yes, it's an accelerated course. You need to expect to spend about an hour or so each day on the material. I think I've really tried to make things very reasonable, but you do need to get it done. If you're signing up for the course, there are course expectations. So the assignment policy. Assignments submitted past the due date and time are worth 50% of the credit. Now, I think I'm very generous in terms of giving you a week to get things done, and most of the unit tests are over 2 days. The one thing that's not 2 days, though, is the final exam, but that's to be expected. So please make sure you're keeping up with the work. Those are the people who get in trouble, people who let themselves fall behind for some reason or other. And in fact, you can even work ahead. The only thing you can't work ahead on is the tests. Those are only open certain days. And of course, collaboration, all work must be your own. We're going to talk about academic integrity in a moment. So let's get into the academic integrity there. Any suspicion of cheating, sharing information, or use of AI to generate answers will result in a 0, which cannot be dropped. Now, assignments that are completed in a short time frame, in a suspiciously short time frame, will be assumed to have been completed by a computer, by AI or a bot, and there's a 0. And any form of AI or bot cheating may be reported as an academic integrity violation. And this is new for this year, that I really want to stress that. Not using AI, not using a chat bot or something to take like multiple choice questions. I have seen cases where it'll be a 12-question quiz and the student completed it in 27 seconds or 57 seconds. I can't do that, and I'm the instructor. And I can check your timing, in Moodle. So please, be honest with your work. It's not that hard of a course. If you just do the basics, you're going to get an A or a B. If you just complete everything and make your best effort, I can almost guarantee an A or a B in the course, just through your hard effort. So please don't cheat yourself. Don't put yourself in a position where I'm sending you an email that says, hey, here's a screenshot. You took 57 seconds to take this quiz, and that's too suspicious, and I'm sorry, but you're getting a 0. So please don't put yourself in that situation, and don't put me in that situation, because it is uncomfortable. It's not something that I want to do either. I want us all to take the course, with integrity. Makeup policy. So makeup tests and exams can be given in a grave situation. But if you know something is coming up, please let me know via email before. If you have a medical test or there's a funeral or something, significant, please let me know. And if it's something like, hospitalization or, a medical test, usually they give you some proof. I certainly don't need to know your medical conditions or anything like that. I don't want to know any of that. But, if you're missing a final exam, you're saying, well, I had a doctor's appointment. Well, we would need to verify that. So please don't miss the final exam. That's kind of the the major sin of this course. So the final exam is cumulative, and the questions are drawn from the previous quizzes. So if you've been taking the course honestly all along, you should be fine for the final exam. I mean, you'll need to review, but it shouldn't be like this big surprise. Oh, I never saw any of this material. Makeup final exams will be administered only in extreme circumstances and not given early. So because of test security, we won't be giving the final exam early. If there's some major situation, you would have to take it later. If you have a learning difference, please contact the Academic Skills Center, and then the director contacts me, and certainly we make any needed accommodations. I've done that plenty of times in the past. It's no problem at all. But like I said, it has to come through the Academic Skills Center, and they'll take care of you. So most of our communication will be through email, but I only want to use your King's email address. So make sure to email me through King's, not through Google or Outlook or whatever. And it's your responsibility to check this account regularly. I know we live in a phone age, but we're not doing things through the phone, through texts and all that. So you will need to be checking your email. That's just how things are done professionally. So class schedule, I'm going to show you in Moodle that it's your daily checklist. The entire course runs from the main page, so you'll be able to follow along and see everything, no problem there. So one piece of really good news is that you don't have to buy a textbook. It's completely online, and it uses OpenStax. And you may have used OpenStax in other courses. It's very commonly used in many universities and high schools. So we'll just click here, Astronomy 2nd Edition, OpenStax. And if you click Table of Contents over here, it'll take you right to the things that you need. Now, don't panic. This is a very long textbook. This is really more set up, I would say, almost for a 2-semester course. So we're not going to be doing every chapter. We're not going to be doing every section. So I do have it really clear in Moodle which ones you're going to do. And then you can just click here and go to, let's see, we'll go to chapter 2. We'll start with that. And it'll take you right there. And you can read it online. If you prefer, you can also download it as like a PDF file. I don't think that's necessary, but if you want to do that to have offline access, certainly you're welcome to do that. So that's the textbook. The entire course runs through Moodle. Everything is here that you need. And have it set up right now so that it's in student mode. So we're all seeing the same thing together. And so what you can see here is here's the intro video that you're watching right now. There's the Teams link, the textbook. Any announcements will be posted here, but I also usually set them so that you get an email as well. So check your King's email. Here's the syllabus, and here's the updated academic integrity policy that also gets into not using AI. And you can see use of AI is not permitted in this course for any assignments or assessments. As I said, I mean, there's things to learn, but I don't think it's that hard of a course. Please don't be cheating yourself or putting us both in uncomfortable situations. So what are you going to do? I have it day by day here. So on Monday, June 9th, you'll click on this, and there's the PowerPoint. And it will take you to the PowerPoint. This is the same one that's in the video, so you can use this for your notes. And let me go back over here. Then Tuesday, June 30th, you're going to watch a video here. All the videos are ones that I've made, and they're on YouTube. I just have them hosted on YouTube. And then you're going to do a question set. Now, the quiz is not currently available, but it'll be available. You can see it opens Thursday, June 25th. Now, these say quiz, but they really are question sets. It's just for Moodle. Moodle calls them a quiz, but they're not really quizzes. However, you do need to still follow academic integrity. And if I want to go back to the course, I can go back here. Then the next day, there's a reading assignment and the PowerPoint, another video and question set Thursday. And then we're getting up on July 4th, so you actually have a little bit of the weekend off there. I did try to do that to build in. There are some Saturday and Sunday assignments, but I tried not to put too many of them in here. And then you'll be able to take the Unit 1 test. Now, that one, the test is only open certain days, so it's really important that you're checking the schedule. After the first week, they all kind of run the same, where you're doing some reading, you're watching the video and the question sets, and then you're taking your tests. And you can work ahead on the question sets and the readings. The only thing you can't work ahead on is the tests and the final exam. And then we come down here, and then that last week, there's the Unit 5 test, the final exam review guide, You have a reading day in there, and then the final exam is listed here, and it has to be completed between 7 a.m. and 11:50 a.m., 59 p.m., essentially midnight on that particular day. So as I said, everything's going to run through the Moodle course here. Now we'll take a look at Teams. So if we need to have an office hour, just email me and we'll try and arrange a convenient time to get together. I don't have set office hours because it's the summer and people's schedules are crazy and different. I found that wasn't effective. But absolutely, if you want to sit down and talk with me face to face, we can arrange a time to do that. So I have the link right here in Moodle. We'll click on Teams. And I just continue in the browser. That seems to be the easiest thing to do. And we'll wait a second and it pops up here. Now you will need to allow it to use your microphone and your camera. You see how I'm doing that up there? So I selected allow. And then we can turn the camera on if we like. I'm not going to do that right now in the audio. And then you just click join now. If you've used Discord, it's a lot like Discord. Now you do have to allow it to manage the windows. And you can see right now that, well, I didn't click the camera thing. I don't have it turned on right now. But you could see that nobody else is waiting to join. But if you were here, then I would see you. And as I said, if you've used Discord for anything, it's exactly like that. So let's leave the call because we don't need to be here. And you just click on the little telephone thing up here. And that's Teams. So just a few things to reiterate here at the end. This is a fast course. We only have a few weeks, so it's really important to keep up. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about 4 points. 1, make sure everything is on time. I think I give you plenty of time. You have a full week to get everything done, to get your question set done. The question sets don't close until the day that the unit test closes. So, and you can get all that done, I think, easily within that week if you're budgeting your time. Number 2, if you have a little extra time, please, I encourage you to work ahead. Now, my full-time job, I teach high school, and high school kids do not work ahead. They do everything the last minute. And I don't think that's a mature approach to learning. As we transition to college and you're already in college, if you can, work ahead on the question sets. As I said, the only things you can't work ahead on are the unit tests and, of course, the final exam. Number 3, communication is key. And we'll be communicating through the King's email. That's how professional things are done. Please, if there's a concern or an issue, we'll work with you. I absolutely will work with you, but you need to let me know. And if it's something coming up that you need to let me know ahead of time, that's even better, because then we can make sure that, everything's happening the way it should. I know, there's real life things happen. Just let me know. Now, number 4 is academic integrity. And I know I said this earlier a couple of times, actually, but I can't stress it enough. Your work has to be your own. And especially, it's just so true in this day and age, it can't be AI. If your quizzes and question sets are being done in a suspiciously short period of time, I'm going to assume they're AI. So please, just don't do that. Like I said, I think the course is reasonable enough that you can get by without it. Now, I don't want to end on a negative note. I want to end on a positive note. Astronomy is fascinating. I think it's just one of the more interesting sciences. I think we just all have that innate interest in space and planets and the stars. So I hope you get a lot out of the course. I hope you enjoy it. I look forward to hearing from you either through the Moodle or through email. And that's what I have. Welcome to Core Astronomy.